Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Uranium Energy. It is time for another update, and it seems on this chart we might have fulfilled our expectation for another low while still holding internal levels of support within this area for continuation to higher prices. We will of course discuss more about that today, but before I would like to go quickly through the larger time frame for any of you who might be new. And here we have been tracking this idea of a potential series of 1-2 setups that would allow us to look for a third wave to unfold to the upside. Now, the thing is, within a wave tree, we would expect to build an impulse here. And since we are dealing with a diagonal structure within this area, we might need to be prepared for other structures that could form instead of this wave tree, at least in a direct fashion. So theoretically, it could still work out as a series of 1-2 setups. We have been tracking that, we have been discussing that, but the latest structure development, this latest rally to the upside doesn't seem suggestive of that structure working out. So we might rather need to consider that either this would be another 1-2 setup information, or that we would be looking at a more substantial top to form within this larger wave 1 to the upside and to look for this larger wave 2 correction. Now, in either case, we would expect to start a decently substantial correction in both scenarios, although certainly if this is an even more significant top within a single wave 1 to the upside, the area of support would only start at very, very low levels. Now, currently, I'm still looking for continuation to higher prices. We are still holding the area of support, but assuming a top would be in place for this larger wave 1, the area of support would really only start at the $4.3 level. We would strongly expect to at least reach that level before continuation in a follow-up larger wave 3 to the upside, and this is within the bullish structure, within the bullish interpretation. Now, this structure would really imply that this would be instead a leading diagonal in a wave 1, and we would be forming here in this latest move to the upside an ending diagonal within a wave C. Now, without staying too much here on the larger time frame, we have the context. We might be looking at a much less substantial correction instead, and if we could have something like an internal 1-2 setup, as I just said, in this area, the area of support would start much higher in such an expectation at the $10.8 level instead. But nonetheless, it's still a substantial correction, and this assumes that the top is in place, which again, I'm still looking for continuation to higher prices. So internally within this structure, I'm looking at a diagonal pattern, whether it is a wave 1 in a leading diagonal or a wave C in an ending diagonal, doesn't really matter. We are looking for this fifth wave to complete an ABC structure itself. Yeah, we were looking for this fifth wave to form to the upside. Ever since we topped within this wave 3, we had a pretty good estimation of when we should start looking for a more substantial top to be in place. We started looking for the wave 4 correction, and we had a very good estimation of when a potential wave 4 bottom would be in place within this ABC correction, and so far we have very nicely worked out to higher prices. After forming this low, we had this high probability area of accumulation for higher prices. Now, before we move actually into the smaller time frame, the internal structure, I wanted to briefly mention our channel newsletter. The link for that is in the description. You will get access to our monthly top picks, and you will be among the first to get access to our Discord server when it launches. It is completely free, and if you enjoy the content and you want to support us, you can check out our channel membership. The link for that is in the description as well, or you can click the join button right below. It is completely frictionless, it's built directly into YouTube, and it helps us out a lot in providing the content that we do on such a regular basis. Yeah, we regularly provide over 100 videos a month, and you will also get access to additional content that I cannot even post on this channel, no matter how good the trade setup is, because they just don't get views and it hurts our algorithm, yeah? But you will get access to additional stocks and assets that I consider to be very interesting for potential trade setups. And you will also get priority to replies and to stock coverages when there is a video slot open. Now, don't take that as a guarantee, full disclaimer, but it is a focus for me. Now, back to the chart. Here within this fifth wave, we have been tracking this idea of an ABC structure to unfold and complete the pattern and complete our fifth wave to the upside before we start looking for the larger correction. Keep in mind, this is very much towards the later stages of the uptrend. We are looking at a fifth wave within a wave C, within a larger fifth wave, within a diagonal structure. Once we form a substantial top, we need to be highly prepared for even an extremely sharp correction. Those are actually very common to occur after diagonal structures. Be extremely prepared for a sharp correction to occur once we form a more substantial top. It's not a guarantee, but it is certainly something to consider. We are towards the later stages of a very substantial uptrend, and we need to be prepared for a strong correction to potentially occur afterwards. I wouldn't deny the possibility of extensions even once a more substantial top would form, even within this wave C in green, because this could extend into a larger ABC structure, but I would not bet on it. I would be very cautious because we would have a full pattern within this count, we would have a full structure, and we wouldn't need additional extensions to higher prices. Now, nonetheless, internally, we have still been tracking this idea of an ending diagonal within a wave C. Within this pattern, we have already completed the wave 1, 2, 3, and possibly 4 now, and we would still be looking for a fifth wave to extend to even higher prices. Keep in mind, this is really only applicable to us as long as we hold here the $14.2 level. Ideally, we hold the $14.4 level. I have explained why in the previous video. This is our main area of support for the count that we are tracking here actively on the chart. But I allowed the $14.2 level to be reached in an extreme case of a slightly different pattern. But nonetheless, it may be associated anyway with a not sustained break, and I would still be looking for continuation to higher prices. But for now, I'm focusing here on this area of support. Below the $14.2 level, we would have no reliable pattern to allow us to look for continuation to higher prices. It's not that it's impossible, but it will be very difficult to find a reliable pattern to track for such an expectation. It is very much possible that a more substantial top may already be in place and that we would start looking for the larger correction. And this is actually what we have been focusing on within this yellow interpretation, where in the previous video we had formed an initial 5-wave move to the downside that was suggesting, after a 3-wave correction into the area of resistance, to look for at least another 5-wave move to the downside. Now, this could have been still within the area of support, ideally, because if we break the area of support, we would be looking for something potentially much more bearish to occur, and we had the $19 level as the line for a breakout, the line that, if broken in a sustained manner, was suggesting strongly that a more substantial bottom would already be in place, never mind the potential initial 5-wave move to the downside. But after forming just a tiny 3-wave pattern into the 50% retracement, we have extended and we formed another low within this area in an ending diagonal potentially. And now I may actually consider that we have bottomed within this wave 4 once again. So in the previous video, we were still allowing a potential bottom to have formed within this wave 4, but we were preferring an extension within at least another 5-wave move to the downside within this area. Now that this is in place, we have another attempt to start the larger 5th wave to the upside. Keep in mind, even within this wave C in green, we are tracking an ending diagonal, meaning that within this 5th wave, we only need to build an ABC structure to complete the entire pattern. Now, I don't want you to lose hope, but having this as a potential 5-wave move to the downside doesn't automatically mean that this is the wave for bottom. We would still need to break relevant levels of resistance before we would look for something potentially more bullish. And to be honest, I will have to even leave this area of resistance on the chart. I would still need to see a break above the $19 level, because I could even argue that this is a corrective pattern to the downside. Yeah, possibly even a WXY structure. I could still be looking for a wave 2 correction to occur in this yellow structure, in this yellow interpretation, or even a wave B correction. Let's not focus exactly on the label, but Forming this additional low did not guarantee us that we have removed the risk of a potential extension below the area of support. Everything we stated in the previous video remains available, it's just that we have formed another low within this area, and we may have formed our additional 5-wave move to the downside that was strongly expected. But in no way is this a guarantee that we will not see a failure of the green structure. And for this, I will be tracking an additional area of resistance now within a smaller time frame based on the latest extension, where I could argue that this wave B has indeed formed the top here. Not necessary, yeah, we didn't necessarily remove the possibility of a WXY pattern to unfold within this area. Nothing is really stopping us, or even an ABC structure realistically. We might just have an overshoot, but I cannot even remove the possibility of a 1-2 setup that would form within this structure currently. So right now I would need to see the levels of resistance up to the $16.8 broken for the signal that this is not going to form internally a 1-2 setup. So far, we only have a 3-wave pattern into this area of resistance. We might have even already formed the top and we might already be extending to lower prices, but right now I'm waiting for a signal. This stock is within a very difficult area right now. We only have a 3-wave pattern to the upside. We are very close to our last level of support, the $14.2, so we are still below relevant resistance levels and we are not able to identify a clear pattern that would suggest extension to higher prices. Now, if I were to look for an ideal target for this wave C in yellow, I will also provide here the ideal target for a wave 3, but the ideal target for the wave C here will be the 100% extension of the wave A, around the $12.7. The ideal target for the wave 3 would be the $11.3 level. We would be looking to invalidate all profits nearly that we have made in this entire push to the upside from our white area of support. Be aware, once again, I will remind you, below the $14.2 level, we have no reliable pattern that would strongly suggest to us we should expect continuation to higher prices. Currently, we are still tracking continuation to higher prices because this count does look incomplete, but sometimes they just don't finish, especially the last wave. Now, at this point, there really isn't much else to add. I won't go into even smaller time frames. You have the relevant levels of support, you have the relevant levels of resistance, and we are watching continuation to higher prices against the $14.2. We are watching for a potential extension to the downside in this orange structure against the $16.8. And we are watching still for resistance up to the $19 level. We only have a 3-wave pattern and the risk remains high. But for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.